Thank you for joining us for the Village Board of East Aurora meeting for November 21st, 2022. If you could join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Your attendance, please, Maureen.
Trustee Lizickis.
Here.
Trustee Cameron.
Here.
Trustee Vijay.
Here.
Trustee Flynn.
Here.
Trustee Kimmelhart.
Here.
Trustee Shear.
Here.
Mayor Mercurio.
Present.
7 present, 0 absent.
Thank you. I get a motion to approve the minutes of the village board meeting for November 7, 2022.
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second.
I'll second.
Second by Molly. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to approve the payment of abstracts for 11/21/22 for voucher numbers 62885 to 62929 for a total of $654,681.38. Moved by Steve, second.
Second.
Second by Grace. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. All right, this is our first speakers and communications. For those who aren't familiar, we do 2 per meeting, 1 at the beginning, 1 at the end. If you have an issue or a comment, raise your hand. When we call on you, please come up to the microphone if you're able. Give us your name and your address. Try to keep your comments relatively succinct if you would, please, because there's a whole bunch of you. And just let us know what you're thinking. Make sure you direct the comments to the board, please, not to each other in case there's a differing of opinion. All right.
And there would be no
Start.
action taken.
Yeah, we're not planning, we're not planning on taking any action tonight. We're just kind of hearing what the community thinks, and then we'll kind of work through our options in the future. So for starters, we're gonna look at the discussion on the East Fillmore Bridge project. Is there anybody who'd like to speak on that? Come on up.
Emma Reynolds, 900 East Fillmore Avenue.
Hello.
We've written a letter to the board. This is from all of the residents of the properties directly affected by the proposed bridge and road changes. I'm just going to read this out to you. We want to make you aware that we are all in agreement. We do not support the addition of the sidewalk and would like you to consider not installing new sidewalks in the area for the following reasons. Due to the unpredictability of Tannery Brook and the steep hill in winter and spring, the sidewalks to the north of the bridge would be extremely difficult to maintain and become very icy. The argument for sidewalks to make the road safer for pedestrians coming from Martin Drive and surrounding areas are also not really relevant in this situation, as they already have a shorter route with sidewalks using Warren Drive. We did a quick search on Google Maps and it shows that that route is 2 minutes quicker from 821 Martin Drive to Ricks on Main. So if safety is a concern, they could use that route. A large portion of the land in front of 791 Martin Drive is also going to be negatively impacted by the new road placement, and perhaps without the sidewalks, the impact on this property owner could be reduced. The cost of $35,000 plus, I think it's going to be a lot more than that, could be better spent elsewhere in the village where it is more needed. And most importantly, none of the residents of the properties that face directly onto East Fillmore Avenue are in favor of this. And we feel like you should take our concerns seriously. As a footnote, the residents met with David Gunner at what we believe to be the start of the project, and we were told that the new bridge must be replaced with a new 2-lane bridge, and it was not something that we had any input in. Further, the rationale for a 2-lane bridge seems to be simply that this was all that was asked for as a blanket approach to all village bridges, not that this solution to any specifically identified problem with the current bridge on East Fillmore. As there is easy access to both sides, residents would much prefer that this historic bridge was left as a 1-lane and in the style with which it currently is. We understand that the town did not originally consult with the village for this proposal and cannot escape the perception that this is an unnecessary attempt to force further spending of taxpayers' money to solve mistakes in the initial approach and proposal rather than address a specific goal with the bridge. Thank you for your time.
Very good. Thanks, Emma.
May I have that letter? Thank you.
Anyone else? Sir.
I'm Greg Goggins, 813 Martin Drive. I've lived in our house for 28 years. And over that time, my two children, many neighborhood children have walked, jogged, skateboarded, pulled wagons, any mode of transportation necessary to get up that hill. And we've never really had any problems. I'm here to say that I'm not in favor of a 2-lane bridge. I'm not in favor of the sidewalks, and I'm not in favor of a stop sign. The sidewalks, I'm not sure are necessary. As I said, over 28 years and walking up that bridge and driving up that bridge numerous times, I've never encountered an issue with oncoming traffic or traffic behind me. People understand that it's a 1-lane bridge and it is what it is. And people have been respectful of pedestrians. Hold on a second. As I say, cars slowed down. I'm not sure there's a need for a stop sign. If I understand, you could do it. What is proposed is almost a 90-degree angle at that intersection or at that bend. I'm not sure that cars are going to be going at any speed around a 90-degree angle corner. In terms of cars needing to slow down, I think a few years ago, the village was asked, or some residents in that East Fillmore area asked to have the bridge closed. And there because of speeding traffic. I think the village did a speed survey or whatever it's called and found that that's not really a concern at that. It wasn't at that point, and I don't anticipate that it will be in the future. I really, what drew my wife and I to that area was the quaintness of a 1-lane bridge, the wooded area. We liked the picturesque, unique setting that area provides. We've had friends for years come visit and walk up and drive up and go up that through the bridge. And they're just amazed how neat it is. And I would just hate to see that leave our village. I think it's very precious, and it's one of the things that makes our village what it is. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you. Yep.
Next. Sir.
My name is Ken Mazer. I reside at 865 East Fillmore Avenue. My wife and I moved in there in 1991 and basically purchased a home in that area because of the quaintness of the bridge and the geography and just how unique of an area it is, where it's very quiet and the neighbors are very close people. We're all together. And when we heard about the 2-lane bridge being proposed, we're thinking, okay, 2-lane bridge, increased traffic, which we have seen over the past 4 or 5 years coming through that area, not of East Fillmore residents, but everyone else making a shortcut to get through to Pine. And they do not respect the people that live in East Fillmore. I've been told many times by people that could be my grandson or granddaughter, F you, when I've said, please slow down. There's kids walking, people walk their dogs and young children all the time, including my neighbors. And they're just disrespectful to the people that own property there. And I would think if a 2-lane bridge was open, that's just going to increase the traffic cutting through. And so that's why I'm totally against, if they have to rebuild the bridge to make it more supportive, and because it is an older bridge, I'd be all for that, obviously, but to expand it, I just think you're opening a can of worms of creating a possible dangerous situation. And as far as sidewalks, I'm not sure. I live on the south side of East Fillmore Avenue, second house from the end before it takes that bend down to the creek. Right now, I have drain tiles that come from my backyard, one on each side of my property, that relieve all the water that comes from behind me, which is probably a 30-degree hill that goes up to Main Street. And I paid thousands of dollars to have this drain tile put in about 20 years ago because I was getting water in my foundation, ruining my foundation because of the water depositing in my backyard. So to relieve all that, I had to put in the drain tiles. And right now those drain tiles go into the storm sewers right at the, where the street meets my property. And they're probably 4 to 5 inches underneath grass level, which I don't know how they would put in sidewalks and save my drain tile without, if they had to bury the drain tile any lower, it wouldn't tie into the sewer. So it would just probably run somewhere underground until it got blocked up, and then it would back up my drain tiles into my backyard, which would cause a possible bad scenario for my foundation. So I would be totally against the sidewalks. Plus, I just think if you've ever been in that area, take a ride down in that area and just see at the end of the street what it looks like and how natural it is from how many years ago. And I just think putting in the 2-lane bridge and the sidewalks would just change the whole geography of that area. And for one of the main reasons that we purchase homes there. So I would hope you'd consider, my feelings and my concerns. I appreciate your time today.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you.
Next. Come on, there's 16 of you. You didn't all come out to hear about the DPW's excess.
I paid pretty quickly. I have one more thing to add.
I'm Jay Marshall. I live at 791 Martin Drive. I've lived there for approximately 60 years. In 1968, I was on the village board and I was requested to run a survey up in my area relative to the replacement of or the placement of curbs in areas where it wasn't. And I'll give you a vivid description of what happened when I went to East Fillmore. And I think it's typical of the whole area. I asked them, what kind of a curb do you want? Do you want a country curb? Do you want an upright curb? What do you want? And they said, we want nothing. Leave us alone. We're happy. And just let it be. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jay. Next.
My name is Dorota Johnson. I'm 898 East Fillmore Avenue. You've already heard everything, my thoughts on the whole project. I just want to add one thing. I'm hoping that you guys will consider what's really important to most of us is the integrity of our properties and the peacefulness that we have. Okay, we have something I believe very unique in the area. I mean, people come up. I know sometimes I get stressed out. I'll go walk up to the bridge and look out. I see other people I talk to. Since I've retired, I've been talking to a lot of neighbors. Okay, and they come by just for the scenery. So that is what I'm hoping that we can preserve there. Okay, that is why I am opposed to. Well, you know that I'm opposed to the sidewalks. I'm basically opposed to everything except for the bridge. I don't feel that. Except for maybe repaving the road a little bit, clearing up the corner, and everything else that we petition. I think that in my opinion, we don't have to. The village does not have to spend unnecessary money. They can take the funds and use it elsewhere. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
Who's next? Miss in the back?
Hi, everybody. My name is Lisa Hunt and I live
You
at
can pull that
889.
Mike down if you want.
Okay. I live at 889 East Fillmore, which is right at the top of the hill where the bridge is. And I preferably would prefer an actual walkway, no bridge at all, if that could be brought down to a small, decent, beautiful walkway. Because the traffic there it is a bit out of hand to me with the curve as I live right there, seeing it all. And I think that people do take that corner too fast, even removable speed bumps during the summer months, just to slow people down because they certainly don't as needed. And as far as the sidewalks, not interested because I don't want to have to maintain them, number one, and they've never been there and I would rather just not have the sidewalks as well. So I'd prefer if we could get a beautiful little walking bridge that would be quaint for the town and it would look great. And everybody that goes down Warren can go down Martin to Warren and we go East Fillmore. And I just think it would be a great idea if we could go with that manner. And
All right.
that's everything. Thank you.
Thanks,
you.
Lisa. Who's next? Sure.
Old age, short-term memory. Who am I? Ken Mazer, 865 East
This is the
Fillmore.
first time you've spoken tonight. I don't know.
What you talking?
Happy Easter. Lisa brought up a good point. She's my next door neighbor and unfortunately, everyone gets old, including me. Have quite a large driveway, which I enjoy. I'm back off the street, maybe 75 feet. Especially in times like the past couple days and even during most winter months, it's tough to keep that area clean, especially since I have someone in the family that has medical needs that I have to keep an area open all the time in case an ambulance or I have to get out of with my car. And adding a sidewalk, my property is probably 110, 115 feet wide. I know I would be required to maintain that sidewalk and don't know how often I'd be able to do that. So that's obviously when Lisa brought that up, that is one of my main concerns too, that about maintaining the sidewalk at all times.
All right.
Thanks again for your time.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you.
We'll see. Next. Everybody's done commenting on the bridge. This is your big chance. All right. Does anybody want to speak on any other topic at all? Nothing else. Sure.
Just one question, in the minutes, I saw another drawing of the bridge. They did another survey about a week and a half ago. Is there a reason why they had to do another survey?
No, Matt, do you know?
What's the town?
Maureen, the town did a
The
second one.
gentleman was out about a week and a half ago surveying our properties against.
Thanks for the heads up.
Here's.
Come on up.
Oh, okay. They didn't-
Wait, one, she's speaking.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
We need your name and address in order to have you speak.
You can do that, please.
Don't worry, we don't bite.
Yeah, but it's like I don't live on Fillmore.
That's okay.
It's okay.
You don't have to. It's all right.
Yeah, we love that area. It's so pretty. That's
Did you
why.
give your name and address? I'm good.
Oh, Mary Jo, Carriage Drive.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we don't live on Fillmore. We live in East Aurora. We walk that bridge all the time. It's so pretty. We love it. And I was just wondering if there's a reason why you can't make it a one-way or a dead end and just make it a pedestrian bridge.
Like she suggested, just a walk. Just
Yeah,
a
walk,
walkable,
yeah, pedestrian, right.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
okay.
Something to consider.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary Jo from Carriage Drive. You did great, by the way.
Yes.
whatever you like.
It's
We prefer. We record the meetings, it's like state law, federal law.
You guys can vote not to, and I would be very happy.
Um,
The public likes to watch.
Yeah, we record them. We put them on the village website afterwards, so people who can't make the meetings can hear what was discussed, so.
And that's why they ask you,
Yeah.
that's all.
Okay. Well, do you want me to sit down or can I?
No, we let you.
Can you tell?
Go ahead.
her?
Because
All right,
you
all right.
recorded.
So you're gonna
Well,
be.
I think a long time ago it was proposed to turn the bridge into a walking bridge. And it's a matter of safety. Like right now, there would be and the way I understand it, because of the fire hydrant that's up in the corner, I guess that supplies like us and people down like towards Martin and so forth. And then this is what I learned a long time ago when it was proposed, I think in 2006 or 2008 to shut down the bridge. Okay, so, and I mean, to me, in my opinion, you can't start, closing off roads. I mean, people need access. So just my opinion on that, but I think if somebody goes back and looks, from when they were trying to close the bridge, I'm pretty sure it was in 2006. They ended up the bridge was actually at 3 tons at the time, and then they upped it to 7 tons because they did a big study on it. So I don't know if you've had an opportunity to look at the history on that bridge.
We were on the board, Pete and I, remember that?
Yeah.
We talked about it.
Yeah, I don't
Making it a
remember.
pedestrian only bridge at that time.
Was it like for fire trucks and stuff would have trouble?
Yeah, school buses too.
Yeah.
It had to do with the school bus routes and the fire safety. I can't remember all the reasons, but there are reasons why we wanted to keep the bridge.
Yeah, there was an extensive study done, because I remember coming here and opposing some neighbors along, because I felt that we should have it open, for safety reasons and just to have access, to the road. So, but that's all I have to say for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on back up, Jay. You missed the village board.
Well, I missed some points, I guess. I'm Jay Marshall. I live at 791 Martin Drive. Going back to the bridge. I'll get it in a minute. Well, I'll forget about the bridge for right now. I had some good comments here and I just lost them.
Well,
there's, at the end of the meeting, if you think of it, we can talk about it
There'll
then,
be another public comment at the
at the
end.
end of the meeting.
If you can chime in then.
So if you think about it, then just raise your hand.
We'll be here.
Buses?
Pardon?
Was it about the fire trucks or the buses?
Well, I'd be willing to talk about that, but I don't have the information is kind of hearsay because I'm going on what I've seen underneath that bridge. And nobody's been under that bridge more than I have. People say that it's not safe. I just heard it again. I question their reasoning, and I would ask that before they make that comment, that they should get somebody to go under that bridge who knows what the hell they're talking about and tell us exactly what the problem is. Now, there are 3 8-inch I-beams that extend all the way across the bridge, at least 6 feet on both sides. I've been underneath there. It's been painted, many, many times to keep the rust from being a problem. And from what I can see, there is rust, no question about it. It's been there for a long time, but there's still 8-inch I-beams. So when somebody says that it's not safe, that you can't do this, you can't do that, I question their judgment, and I question the fact that there's no written documentation that says that. I've seen the mayor sit back back of in Droda's driveway and stand there and say that bridge isn't safe. And I'm looking at him like he's nuts.
Who said this?
I won't,
Not you.
I won't go into, it, but the point
Who is
is
that? I remember
that
saying it.
people make
The previous
judgments
man.
and they don't have anything to base it on.
Okay,
Tell me who's actually gone in there and tested it.
yeah.
Tell me one person that knows what they're doing, can go into there and say that that bridge isn't, I mean, they wouldn't let school buses go across. Of course, garbage trucks goes across there all day long. And that's okay. I just have a lot of questions, that's all. And I just, and I will make this one statement that I know is fairly true. The reason that it isn't one way, and I think it being a one-way street, East Fillmore we're talking about now, would be perfect. But there's no way or no, at least at this point, there's no information that they have, and I don't think it's a valid argument, but they say that there's no place to turn trucks around. I had a discussion with a supervisor, and he talked about, I talked about a one-lane bridge, because I believe a walking bridge, again, that's been talked about tonight. I think that's the best way to solve that problem, especially with the fact that you've got all those I-beams underneath there. But going back to the turnaround, there is no place right now that you can turn trucks around, particularly the garbage truck, that goes over there all the time now anyway. I don't know what the limit is. I don't have that information, but it doesn't seem to be an unsolvable problem. I mean, it would mean finding an area to turn trucks around in. And I know that there's one party on the end of East Fillmore that is got her house for sale. And there is area there that could be used as a turnaround. So I don't think that's a valuable deterrent. Just, I mean, you're going to spend a lot of money to make this thing a two-lane bridge and make it a third outlet for the division, the subdivision. And if you want to spend all that money, I guess you're going to spend it. But the point is, if you found a way to turn trucks around and you did some work on the bridge, it wouldn't be anywhere near the value that you're going to spend. That's what I have to say.
Okay. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. Anybody else have any comment on the bridge or anything else? All right, we appreciate it. Does the board want to bandy it about a little bit while we're here? I have a question for Shane. Shane, do you know, was there a speed survey of any kind for that area?
That was
Yeah.
Croca did one. There was one done, remember?
Back in the 06, 08.
Because people were
discussion?
complaining that cars were zooming around there, and they checked and they found out it really wasn't the case. They weren't speeding through there.
Can you guys find that for us? Not right now.
Oh, we don't have that bad.
You won't have the result of,
Well, if we put up a speed sign back then, that was just the numbers generated from that. I haven't come across those numbers like that.
what would be involved with doing another one now?
Our batteries don't last very long in the cold weather.
Is that what those rubber cords are across the road? Is that?
No, we
What
have
does that
those
do?
signs that we put up. That measure the speed.
Well, they're not really, that's
No,
in the
that's
summer
not
when they're
what that
speeding
is.
there. I mean,
Right, to be speeding right now.
yeah,
Well, back in 06, they did the study and they said it really was not an issue the way people had thought it was. The cars appeared to be going faster than they really were, and Ryan Croca came and presented the information at one of our meetings. It was a neighbors came in, they were concerned about cars zipping through there, and they checked it out.
I don't remember the details of what.
Yeah, it was basically, it wasn't a problem, is what it.
I don't know. I
We
think
can
I-
look through the minutes if nothing else.
If I can look through the old board minutes and I'll see if there's anything I can find in the village files.
Right.
And then I'll get back to you.
Thank you. What else? Thoughts? Anybody?
There's some hands raised. I don't know.
We've gotten more,
Mr. Goggins.
we've gotten more public comments generated. What do you got, Greg?
Figure that out. It wasn't a speed sign that gave you your speed, it was the two cords across the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Ken, you got something real quick?
response, Mr. Chair. I remember that. There were some police officers on our street. Nothing against the police department, I'm totally. for the police department. But this was being done weekdays during business hours. To approximately in the day. Traffic is 90 bucks. Come around there in the past 3 or 4 years in the summers.
Yeah.
Weekends.
Yeah.
These people are disrespectful and there is 500 times money. There was 20 cars back then, 40 or 50. I'm outside every day. I'm retired. Do a lot of work outside. And I can't count the number of cars that go by speeding. If I could get the license plates, I would give them to Mr. Figure. I can't get the license plates.
Okay, again, we have to move on, sir.
Every person there's any film. They were here today, they were always the same.
Okay, let's move on. There's other people. Sir,
All right.
there's
thank you,
other
Ken.
people who have to talk.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Shane, maybe you could step up enforcement maybe on that street as well. Just, I mean, something to be aware of.
So there's
All right,
there's
thank you.
There's another time to speak. Just there might be some other people want to get.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
thank you, everybody, for the comments. We appreciate you coming out in the bad weather and giving us your thoughts. We're gonna continue to work through the details on it. As you know, and some of you have pointed out, this was brought to us by Dave Gunner in the town with his proposal, and he'd like the village to share some of the costs. So we're trying to look at all the aspects and be cognizant of what the community wants as well. I mean, I like the charm of a 1-lane bridge, maybe 1 lane with a sidewalk is just seems to make sense in my head, but you guys have brought up some interesting options, making it, a 1-way street or just a walkable, path. So, I mean, it's great. It's great input and feedback and we appreciate it. Anybody want to add anything else?
I'm all about the quaintness and the charm and but I understand also one of the things we're trying to address through the bridge work though is the ice jams that we experienced last year. I mean, we have to remember kind of what really started this whole thing too. So that does need to get addressed, but I'm a big fan of the 1-lane bridge personally. So,
And there's the grant from
right.
for the DOT that we don't want to miss out on. So we want to try and navigate a way to keep the grant and save taxpayer money in that
So-
regard.
So what, I don't
Yeah.
think we should be chasing grant money if we don't need it. I mean. Plenty times you get grants and you don't take them.
Mhm.
Things change,
Right.
opportunities.
You say not do anything. That's
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a definite possibility. I mean, I don't know what the ice jam and all that other stuff is, but I don't think we should do something just because there's money
No,
on the table.
I don't wanna- no,
That's
no.
all I'm saying.
Molly, I'm not saying let's just spend the money to spend the money. I'm saying if they're gonna do work on the bridge, I don't want to miss out on a grant.
Oh, absolutely.
Money that
Right.
might reduce the cost of the community.
Correct,
You know what I mean?
right,
But there's more for us to investigate
Sure.
on the grant anyway, so.
right.
Just another factor
No,
to
absolutely.
consider.
Oh, no, I mean, if the money's there, if we need to do something, we should, and there's gonna be money to pay for it, we should definitely take advantage of it. I agree. Absolutely.
Anything else from the board? All right. Moving on to official considerations, can I get a motion to give permission to the mayor to sign a service contract with Rico for a new black and white copier and $165 per year for the DPW? The service contract is $165 per year. And how much was the?
Oh, the copier's in the $3,000 range.
Okay.
It is for the DPW. They print the water bills and their oversized drawings and things like that. Not oversized, just the larger drawings on the 11x17 paper. They needed a new machine and that is the service contract for the machine, and it does include clicks.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion to give the mayor permission to sign the service contract?
So moved.
Moved by Ernie, second.
Second.
Second by Grace. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to give permission to the mayor to sign a contract with Wendell for service and equipment added to the village GIS system?
I'll be recusing myself from this one.
Grace is recusing herself. Making a motion, anybody?
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second by Marcia. Further discussion.
Yeah, further discussion. How does that enhance what we're doing and what do we use in the current system?
Do we vote on that?
So currently,
We're in the further discussion.
we have the GIS system, which is the mapping, which you can go on and you can see different layers in the village. Layers, so they'll have different. Mhm.
Go ahead.
But we don't-
Yeah, why don't you explain that for the
So you
audience?
can do different layers. We don't have a ton of layers. Right now, we
No,
just
I'm
have.
saying, could you just explain what layers are for the audience?
So the layers would be, you can have a water layer, would be the village water system. That would be a view only by the village. You can have a sewer, you can have a fire hydrant. You can have trees, just many things in the village. You could have a parking layer. I mean, anything like that. And
We add that.
yep, we add that.
We add what infrastructure we have into that system and then it's there and then it coordinates with the GPS.
Yeah, so one of the things would be to buy this like a GPS type unit that pairs with the cell phone. So you can go up to, let's say, a tree and, mark the tree. It will get
See if
the
there's anything below.
GPS point of the tree, and then it will be able to map it. And then they can put information into the system saying, this is this type of tree and this is how big it is. And this is the information. So if we are doing a maintenance program, we would have all of our trees in a layer. If it was our water system, it would tell you how big the diameter is and whatever other, and Matt would have to tell you the other information about water.
You could search the database and say, okay, ash trees, and it would tell you where our 108 ash trees are so that we know where we go to inoculate them for the emerald ash borer, like that. That's a practical application, right?
Yeah, we could pull a report and sort it and do that. Yep.
Well, yeah, put that information in.
Yeah, we have to put.
Finding all that.
So
Do we
So-
have this currently?
Well, so we currently have the GIS system. What we're looking to do is to buy one of the GPS units and then build our first layer. So we're only going to do one layer at a time, and or maybe two, depending on what the layer is. And the DPW guys are going to go around and go to those points that whatever we decide that they're doing and mark that information and to get a layer built. And then we would go to the next one and the next one. And then instead of looking at old maps and such, they'd be able to refer to the electronic system. So they'd be able to pull it up on their phones and look at it. So not just go back to the shop and look at the hard copy that Matt has, but they would be able to pull it up and look at it. You do have to buy so many licenses, I guess, and there's different ones. There's like viewing ones, editing ones. So they have different prices depending on what it is. So we have very minimal purchased in here, basically just to allow the crew chiefs to lead and enter it, Christine and Matt to edit the information. And then at my office, we do all the mailers using the system. So it lets us draw a point on the map and then do a circle.
Downloads all the, or uploads
All the resident information, and then it'll make the labels for us. So that's really all we're using it for at the moment, is to look at the village, be able to see our streets and make the the mailers. I'm sure Matt might be able to have more things that it will be helpful for his team for.
Feel you use it a lot, Matt?
I know his crew chiefs were very
You feel
excited
like you
about it.
Can't do your job without it to the best of your ability.
It would certainly make the job easier over time.
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Being
mean,
able
how much
to-
is it? I don't.
Yeah, what do we spend annually?
You've got that.
Is it, they're proposing $4,300 up front and then $3,300 a year after that, right?
Well, that's only if you use it. So if you notice on the bottom, the one thing that's marked as $2,000, it's billed as you use it. And that's for the the layers and stuff for the assistance from the Heather on
When you
it.
say use it, you mean use Wendell's services to help create the layer.
Correct.
Not use the system.
Yeah, not use the system, just if use their services to help with the layers. And that'll only be billed as they use it. It's not billed automatically. But we put 2,000 in. I mean, you guys could come back to us and say
Budget.
only 1,000. Yep, it's a budget number.
For them that we would.
Yep.
Use to help map out anything we want.
There is the fee for the GPS unit that you have to pay monthly after we buy the first unit.
Yeah, it was what was the 443 annually? There's 1,800.
Hold on, I don't have it open. Pete, do you have it open?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right here.
How much is,
You want-
you'll see the one for like the handheld?
So I'm looking at the proposal fee schedule. Task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4.
43,
Okay,
33 after that. every year.
Task 1 is additional licenses.
okay, so that's to
2
do,
is the purchase of a Trimble catalyst. Is that the?
yeah, that's a handheld.
Okay, that's a $1,425 lump sum upfront for 2022 and then $445 annually.
Yeah, so that's the annual cost for that.
Yeah, I just don't know what it really means.
No, that's for the handheld. That's for the handheld. That gets paid to the GIS.
Subscription.
Yeah, it's like ERIS. It's in there who the,
We said 880 a year and then.
Yeah.
Then the other fee is for Wendell annually to help.
the
us-
2,000.
To help us keep updated.
Yep.
And if you need it, you need it, but I just.
We did look at it. Yeah, we looked at it a long time ago.
Yeah, I just
And-
didn't understand fully what the purpose was. to be
Okay.
honest.
We originally only did the part of it because the DPW wasn't ready to use it and I didn't want to spend the money at that point if they weren't going to use it. And I heard that the handhelds were being upgraded. So then after the handhelds got upgraded, we brought Heather back in to do the presentation. And she also did it for the crew chiefs now, who are basically going to be the people who really are going to get the benefit of it, because once it's all in there, it's the years down the line of not having to go back to that paper.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks for clarifying that.
Any other discussion? All right, moved by Kristen, second by Marcia. All those in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? Approved? C. Can I get a motion to approve declaring equipment as surplus property for the DPW?
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Marcia, second,
Second.
second by Kristen. Further discussion, Matt or Maureen, somebody want to tell us what we're talking about? Matt, want to tell us what?
Every year we turn over 4 pieces of Bobcat equipment, excavator, 2 skid steers, 1 wheeled, 1 tracked, and a side-by-side utility vehicle for water and flowers on Main Street. So this is just to allow us to trade those in when the new ones come in. And then the new sweepers on order, that should be in first part of January. So our old sweeper will be sent to auction. And a new dump truck is on order, that should be in probably by February, March. And the dump truck that the new one is replacing will be sent to auction.
On the old copy.
And the old copier.
Be disposed.
With prices being up on that equipment. Are we still coming out ahead?
On the turnovers for the
Turnover,
Bobcats?
Yeah, the turnaround.
Yeah, it did very well, actually. The one, the excavator, we were able to trade it in for more than the new one cost us this year.
What?
Wow.
Good.
That's super.
So we turn these four around every year?
Yes, sir. And we've been doing that since we got our first skid steer loader in 2005.
So, and then, so those payments that were made out to the Bobcat people were the difference between what we traded in and what, so we paid like 14 grand to get to keep our equipment 1 year old or brand new versus 1 year old.
Correct.
Does it make any sense to do it every 2 years?
We looked at doing it every 2 years and the trade value dropped.
Does it?
Yeah.
And we don't have the maintenance either. You know.
Of course,
new
they're-
equipment.
They're under warranty for that year as well.
All right, any other discussion? Moved by Marcia, second by Kristen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I'm going to appoint Haley Steer as part-time public safety dispatcher starting on or after November 22nd, 2022. Shane, you have anything to add, please?
Just that she's a great young lady, appears to be a very hardworking person. Wants to get into criminal justice in some sort of fashion. She's, I think she'll do really well. She's got a long 400 hours of training ahead of her, but I think she'll go through it pretty easily.
Great. Anyone have any questions for Shane? Nope. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Congratulations to Haley. Any business? Second, speakers and communications. Anybody come up with anything else they want to talk about? I know it hasn't been very long, but.
Sir, do you have anything? Sir, did you have anything to bring forward? Okay, thank you. Thank you for your patience.
All right, moving on to the department head report.
Oh, we got one.
We got one.
Sorry, where? Oh, sure, go ahead.
Come on up. Thank you.
That's what it's for.
I just would like to know what is the next step? What as far as you know, the next step with the whole East Fillmore project or the bridge project? Are you going to make the decision on this, or other people going to be, you know, somebody from the state? I just would like to know what the process
Yeah, well,
is.
it's, the town is doing the project. They came to us and asked us
Right.
if we would pay for some of it, and they outlined how they wanted it to look. Dave Gunner. how we wanted it to look. What's that? Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, they didn't ask us anything. They told us that they went and got $1 million grant. And
Right.
They designed the bridge and they told us how it was gonna be. And then they said, if you wanna change the funky turn.
Yes.
To make it line up a little better, it's gonna cost you 35 grand for the apron, and if you do the turn, another 100 grand, potentially, so I'm at 35. Which we were all surprised by, and now many of us have similar feelings as you.
Okay.
That the
that-
one lane
that's
bridge
what I want to-
was nice and quaint, and do we really need to do it? But a few years back, there was this dispute between the village and the town as to when we really needed a bridge, who was gonna pay for it? And New York state law dictates the town is responsible, not the village. So now they took it upon themselves, well, if we're responsible, we're moving forward and.
Okay, so, but
and
that's
which
my
is a good
question.
thing
I
going
know
for the
the whole-
grant,
I,
but
yeah,
they
I know
didn't
the whole
consult any
story,
prior.
but you guys will make the final as far as the road and the sidewalk then? Or it's, or is, are will other people?
Maureen, you want to wait?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're right. The bridge, the town can decide to do what they want. I mean, they may take feedback from the village board on with their opinion, but the town can decide to do the bridge. They,
No, the bridge, but what about the part that's the village responsibility?
so the board
road
will
and the
have to,
sidewalk?
will have to vote on that, but they're not doing that tonight. So they're gonna have to, there'll be a proposal in front of them and they will vote for or against.
Okay, I mean,
doing-
there's gonna be another committee that does that? Then?
It wouldn't be another committee. It would be the same group that's doing the main project. They're looking to add us to that project.
Okay.
So they would
So
do the
only
whole
people
project and
that
just
would
bill us.
know of the Project is Dave Gunner, though. That's my.
Yeah, so Gunner is the one doing the project. We're deciding on the
Yeah,
sidewalks and the
town owns
road.
Bridge, the town owns the bridge. We're talking about really the other stuff
Right, the other, that's what I'm talking about.
Either way, sidewalk, no sidewalk, but ultimately the town owns the bridge. That was decided at court.
Okay.
The village does not own that bridge.
No, I understand that. I just want to know
They-
who's
they
going to
built
make
it.
the
It's their
final
bridge.
decision on the sidewalk and the road.
They build it, they own it. Legally, right, Bob? They own it, right?
Yeah.
The town is, according to
Right.
court, the town owns the bridge.
Right.
Well, the court has certainly made that
Okay.
decision.
We don't own the bridge,
Responsibility.
but as far as putting a sidewalk up to somebody's lawn or, whatever else that might happen,
Right,
either side, that's village.
that's about, that's,
Ultimately, the
but that will
town,
be your
the town
call.
decides what that bridge will be.
But
That's their.
you're welcome
okay.
to go to
Well,
the
that's
town
fine.
meeting.
So the town
and
board
talk
is
about the
really
bridge
the
part.
bridge part.
What's that, Grace?
You're welcome to go to the town meeting and ask them why the bridge decision was made for the 2-lane without consulting neighbors or anything like that. Just because they own the bridge, we're the
Right.
outside. So if you guys want to show up there and ask them why those
They're-
decisions for the bridge were made, those would be the ones to ask about. the
They're
bridge.
ultimately driving that project.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But sidewalks
Or-
or no sidewalks, we hear you. That's our thing.
Right,
And
okay, so
paving-
then
paving we
when should
do.
we know
Right.
when, how? When are you gonna make the decision on the sidewalk and the street?
Oh, well, didn't they say they had
we
a
get
January,
the-
some kind of January date?
But Dave
or
Gunner
something?
wanted it by the end of the year.
Well, at the last town board meeting, he said he was going in and cutting down the trees in March and then closing the bridge and starting to tear down the bridge in April, I believe is what he said.
Mm.
So he's ready to go.
Well,
and
we
he's
could
just
make a
waiting on
decision on the
us.
sidewalks until we know what they're doing with the bridge anyway.
I think we need a real estimate.
And I was gonna say,
Right.
we don't know the cost.
Yeah, we got
Right.
kinda-
We don't know.
So Dave said
I don't wanna-
he won't do an engineering estimate unless we want to move forward. So
But we can't move forward
Unless we
without
know how
knowing how
much
much it's gonna cost. I mean, so it's kind of a,
So what happens if we say,
Catch-22.
we don't want you to do that to the bridge?
he can still do it
He
to the
can still
bridge.
do it.
Mhm.
And then.
Yeah, so the town board meetings are the second and fourth
The apron?
Monday.
Okay,
It's for
The month.
the sidewalks.
okay, because I have, there's one, and I didn't know who like, if you are not gonna make a decision until like after the first of the year, which I think might be to our benefit. I would encourage everybody to come down, especially right now, to see how bad and this is always. Ever since I've moved in there, or 35 years, the road gets paved from the bridge down and within a year it gets destroyed. Okay, and it's because of the water runoff and everything that, okay, so I didn't know if that was something that the town's responsibility. Or that's basically all village responsibility at this point.
Matt?
Road is the village responsibility.
Okay,
Right.
all right, well. It never lasts, okay, they paid and well, and it's because of the runoff and everything else, so, I mean, that's been my whole thing as far as the sidewalks too, because if that's what's happening to the road. That's what's gonna happen to the sidewalks too. Another football, and I kept trying to remember everything to present. Is every spring, my husband and I are scraping or actually raking asphalt, because everything comes off on our yard. Okay, from the, it's from the plowing and from the cold and everything, and it's not the plow's fault. Okay, it's just that everything is so wet there. Okay, so, but thank you about, I wanted a clear understanding on. At this point, maybe we should be going to the town and listening. That's my question. We should.
Yeah. Second and fourth Mondays, you probably want to definitely go there and voice your opinion with them on the bridge itself.
Okay. Okay.
Their
They
meetings,
have access to the minutes of the board and that. but-
their meetings are also
but
on
You
YouTube.
certainly, would,
You can
it
listen.
would behoove you and the other people here, to make your feelings known with
So-
regard to the bridge.
Okay.
At their
I just wanted clear understanding.
But they
Okay,
certainly
because
have access to
here's
what's
somebody.
going on here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Their meetings are also uploaded to YouTube as ours are, and the last meeting is when Dave was talking about his plans for the spring with the bridge. I'm pretty sure he said he was taking down the trees and then the bridge in the spring, but I don't remember exactly what he said.
I think he said he was going to take down the trees before the bats
bats.
came, and I don't know when that is, April, so it has to be done before April.
Yeah.
Oh, right, that's right. He did say that.
All right, department head report. Shane?
Just that we've been working with Matt and his department to make sure the road conditions are in good shape this Thursday for the East Aurora Turkey Trot. And I think Matt's crew did a great job over the weekend. There were no roads in the village that were impassable. So. And that's it.
What about the safety committee report? It's on my agenda.
Yes.
Report on request for stop sign at Gerard and South Grove.
Oh, yeah, that should be North Grove, but
North Grove and Gerard, right?
yeah, it says South Grove on the
Yeah.
form though. Yeah, after looking at it and all the documentation, we've come across when and where to put stop signs. It just doesn't dictate it there in that area. In the initial request, one of the big concerns was the pedestrian crossing sign getting run over. But that happens in certain intersections. Originally, when we had it at Main and Payne, that was an issue there for everybody making left turns. And it's the same thing there. They look to the left, look to the right and start to go, and they cut the corner too quick and run over the plastic sign. Stop signs give people a false sense of security. They think they can continue to look at their phone as they cross the street because they're in a crosswalk at a stop sign, and drivers aren't always paying attention, and it can cause more issues. We've done speed monitoring on Gerard, and it's never to the point of the complaints that we get. Again, traffic sometimes appears going faster than it actually is. And Gerard really isn't that bad compared to some of the higher speed limits out in the town and issues we have on other streets. Any questions on that?
Yeah, Shane, I have one. So one of the things you're saying is coming off Gerard, making a left, and I think one of the suggestions was moving that crosswalk to the east side.
Yeah, that's one thing Matt and I
that
had
seems
talked
to make
about.
sense.
It does, and that falls to you guys if you want to spend the money, because it would have to have curb cuts for ADA appliant to be compliant. It would need sections of more sidewalk to go from the current sidewalk to the street.
And a tree has to come down.
And apparently a tree would have to come down.
I'm
So-
just also thinking about, I mean, that is a pedestrian route for kids coming up to the middle.
Absolutely, yep.
So,
I mean, we don't have issues. And there is a huge misconception with the crosswalk throughout the village and in New York State.
yeah.
Traffic does not have to stop for people waiting at the crosswalks. Traffic has to stop once the first lane's clear and the pedestrian enters the roadway, then all traffic has to stop. But the pedestrian can't enter the roadway until their lane is clear and it's safe for them to do so.
Crazy.
So. But that's how the law's written.
So, I mean, would it be worth costing out what a change would be there?
Yeah, I could put together a cost estimate for
I mean, I don't know.
removing that large tree and cutting the curb.
The tree, I know it's always an emotional issue too, but I don't know.
Mhm.
So, and this was also a resident request, so has the resident been informed?
I passed it on to Kathy. She was in communication with the
Okay.
resident. I don't know if she had passed that on or not yet. So
All right,
I
thanks.
think she might have been waiting until you guys were able to review it. So.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Shane. Matt?
Things have been pretty good here the last week or so.
Nothing going on?
Nice and quiet.
Caught up in
Yeah.
your crossword puzzles?
Yeah, that's all set, but with the snow event,
The guys did a great job as far as I'm concerned. And Sunday afternoon, actually Sunday at noon, contractors came in, a couple of loaders and a bunch of dump trucks to help widen out the roads, and they've been working around the clock since then. This morning, we took delivery of a dozer at Sinking Ponds to keep the mass quantities of snow pushed back up out of the way to make room for more snow that's still being hauled in. And those operate, and we started clearing sidewalks today with the blower, which does take considerably longer than the V-blade operation. So operations are going to continue with some significant overtime until everything's all cleaned up.
Nice work, Matt.
Yeah,
I know, I talked to Jeff Stoll, our streets foreman, and you told me the guys were working, what, 18-hour shift to start? And then just running home to get some sleep and getting back in there. And I think something people don't realize is like all those guys have the same problems we all have. Right? Their driveways are all jammed. Their kids can't get out. The one guy said his kids are at his parents' house and nobody can get out. Right. And he's here working, clearing our streets. So we really appreciate everything that DPW has done. That's part of why I went on had the D-Land order us some extra help from the county. So we got those 2 lifts and the 4 dump trucks, and I saw them on the way here, actually. I was driving around the neighborhoods a little and they were over on, I think, Crescent or King. And they're just widening the streets and lifting all the snow and getting it out of the village, cleaning the intersections, just Main Street, parking lots, everything. So it's nice having them there, but it still is you guys doing all the heavy lifting. We really appreciate all the work you're doing. Hopefully that takes, the county guys take the edge off a little bit. And we had a call today with the state to see about getting reimbursed for it. And so they asked us to submit some estimates and on what we've spent in overtime and cost on the contractors. And it looks like we're gonna get a chunk of it back, but we still have to deal with the state, so it'll be a little while, but
Sure.
Maureen, you were on that call with me. What was it? They said it was FEMA approved event, right?
Not yet.
No.
We have to meet the state has to meet the requirements for it. So I have to get an estimate in by Wednesday. And if all the counties within the state meet the $4 million
$4.2 million, I think.
amount, which I believe they will get to,
Sure.
then we'll be able to all submit our stuff. We'll get a 75% reimbursement. The last time the state reimbursed the other 25%. But we can also use some in-kind services, like the fact that our firefighters were pretty much sleeping at the fire hall and taking calls into the wee hours and such.
Very good. All right, thanks. Do we have anything from Kathy or Liz that we need to report?
Nothing from Kathy or Liz.
Okay. What do you got?
Just been working on supporting our emergency services, making sure they have what they need, keeping a record of the events and doing the paperwork for the FEMA money.
Very good. Thank you. Steve?
I just was gonna ask about leaf pickup. I got to firsthand see the benefit of the fly car. This weekend, I was out and someone in our party, we were actually playing dominoes at 42, and I thought he was having a heart attack right across from me, a buddy of mine. And at first I thought it was his turn and he's doing this. And I'm like, come on, what are you doing? And we called, and the ambulance wouldn't have been there for, I don't even know how long. And they got there in pretty good time. And the service was excellent. He had said that it was just come back from another stop from an overdose. And he took his time with him. And fortunately, it wasn't a stroke or a heart attack. We all thought the guy was mumbling and incoherent. And they got there quick and great response, took care of it, and was on their way to another call, which I don't think him could have thought.
Great.
So I think that was a great decision.
Good. Yeah, I think think Chief LeBlanc said they were out until 3 a.m. With a barn fire. Right in the middle of the storm, right, where everybody else is battened in and with their Netflix and their beer. And our volunteer firefighters are out there still working hard for us, so we're lucky to have them as part of the community looking out for us. Molly,
I don't have anything.
Marcia,
I'm good.
okay, Ernie?
Went to the American Legion for the Veterans Day ceremonies with Jim Bach, and it was a beautiful ceremony. It was really touching. So that was it. That was my week.
Nice, thanks for getting there. Grace Vijay,
Also,
Kristen,
Capital Committee has a meeting next week, and we should have a recommendation ready for the board by the end of the year. If not the first meeting in December, then definitely by the second. So,
awesome, thanks for doing that.
That'll be
Thanks for
coming.
running that group.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like this one.
Last Saturday, I was over at the highway garage. And some local Girl Scout leaders brought out some of the scouts, so we had maybe half dozen Girl Scouts came out and 3 or 4 moms came out to help, and my wife and I were there, and we got most of the holiday decorations up and good to go. The previous year, we kind of set it up so it would require less maintenance, but we spent a good day there getting everything lit and ready. So I don't know what the DPW is doing, but I mean, the holiday decorations are ready to go, man. You guys-
If you're telling me that's a priority.
No, plow first. Christmas can wait. All right. That's it. Let's see. That's it. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Ernie, second.
Second.
Second by Marcia. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Nice.
Opposed? All right, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you all for joining us tonight.